Okay, let's talk about Married to Medicine reunion. The intro starts off with oh, they show Aydin, and he's talking about he got the shit. He has the envelope with the receipts in there. Okay, first of all, let's start off with liking and subscribing and commenting. I know that I'm late with the review. I just not have been into it, but anyways, the fashions. Toya looked tacky. I didn't like her outfit. Black sheer thing with flowers, and she had like this gray streak in her hair. Mariah, I said, giving you Fariah scary. Simone, she was cute with her ponytail. Her ponytail was actually cuter than, okay, it's charging. Then, Toya's. Jackie looked a mess. The color was wrong. The shoes were wrong. Dr. Heavenly looked like she was, like a junior high school prom. She was looking like Quad looked really nice in that blue, complimented her, but I would have liked to see her with like a little updo. Tessa, I didn't understand why her titties was out so much, but I mean she's excited about it, so that's just gonna be what it is. So who did you guys think was the best dressed? I thought out of all of them, that Quad was probably the best dressed. Mariah, that those eyebrows, and then I kept seeing a variation of her hair being teased out, and then like regular. So I don't know what that continuity issues were, because did she come out with her hair a certain way and then go back and tease it because it didn't look good? Or I didn't understand that, because I don't know, did anybody else notice that one side you had Contessa, Heavenly, um, what's the other one, Quad, and Jackie, and then on the other end of the couch it was Toya, Mariah, and Simone. So you see they're already divided based on their issues they had throughout the season. Dr. Jackie and Dr. Simone right in the front. So the divorce update on Simone, much better. They're both stubborn. I find a lot that Simone likes to, in addition to holding herself accountable, she likes to remind the person that they are as equally accountable for whatever. She did it with Contessa. She does it with Cecil a lot, and she did it with Quad, where she wants you to know, you know, yeah, I did something wrong, but I want you to also bear responsibility for it too, which was funny because she kind of said that Heavenly later on was doing that in terms of deflecting, but she does the same thing too. But in a sense, it's just like, I want you to remember that you're as equally accountable for whatever's going on here as well too. She does that a lot. She says that nobody allowed them to give up on their relationship. They're having to work on communication. She said because too many people stay in relationships that are, and they're miserable, honey. Yes, we do. We know a lot of people who stay in relationships who are miserable, who are not leaving for whatever reason, whether it's familiarity, whether it's for the children. We already know that too many people do that. She says she doesn't have any contact with Tammy. She decided not to have contact with her. And the way that she was describing it was making it made me seem like she loved a single woman's lifestyle. Like she wants to not have to cook. She wants to just come home, not have to worry about anybody eating or anything like that. And that's what it seemed like to me. It's like I felt like from her, that's what her thing was. She likes living like a single woman's lifestyle. She just started naming all these things, like what single people don't, they don't have to call anybody. You don't have to remind. I don't have to cook if I don't want to. None of that. I don't have to worry about none of that. So that's what it seemed like to me that what's her name? Simone was on. They went to Contessa. They talked about Contessa's double mastectomy. Now, this is what I caught from everything, just watching that whole scene again, or clips or whatever. I noticed that she seemed to have a psychological adjustment that she had to get used to. But they wanted her to come out, and be ready, but she has to get used to how she looks because it's not what she's used to. Now, this is a new part of her body. I don't understand why people don't get that. When people do make changes and alter their body, you have to go through a psychological thing as well. It's not just it's a physical change, but mentally you have to get through that too. So I felt like that they didn't take that into consideration with Contessa. Just looking back on it. She said everything with her dad is fine. He's decided to undergo treatment. And then they started talking about the size of her breasts. And then Heavenly was like, men like breasts. And like, she's like, and then they start talking about how it doesn't matter if it's flat or what your butt is skin. If people like butt and breasts, it doesn't matter if it's flat. And then they start like throwing shade at each other. I guess, I don't know, Simone has a flat butt, but we know Jackie looks like a porch. They started talking about Toya with Contessa and her issues. Simone brings it up, saying like, I really felt like you didn't want to come around. What is this having to welcome people back into the group? And remember, we were saying that, like, why does she keep welcoming her back like she went somewhere or she was disconnected somehow or whatever? To me, I felt like they just didn't take her psychological adjustment into consideration. Simone brings up with Toya, the situation with Toya. You didn't come to her birthday party because you made up some story about your dad and you're a liar and a fraud. And even Andy was like, wait, you saying she's a liar and a fraud? What's her name? Um, Contessa was like, well, what are you talking about exactly? If I'm a liar and a fraud, like, what is it that you're talking about? I felt like you were dodging Toya. And she was like, nobody is going to keep me from this group. If I don't want to be around the group, I don't want to be around the group for whatever reason. But when I decide to come back to you, nobody, I'm letting you know that I'm not trying to be a part of the group for whatever reason. It don't have nothing to do with Toya. Toya can't keep me from this group. You can't keep me from this group. Nobody's going to keep me from this group. So don't, in other words, don't believe that you have that much control over what I'm doing over here. So then when they were talking about the welcome back to the group thing, Andy says, well, maybe you just got it off because you are drunk. And she was like, I am not. Then she took offense, Simone. Now, let me tell you, I guess Simone is looking at how that her behavior might be affecting her practice or her image, because we know that Jackie does the complete opposite. Everything she's doing is to make sure that her brand is still intact. That's why she doesn't do anything outside of the normal. She doesn't drink. She doesn't do any of that on camera. But they went ahead and showed us the clip of Simone every time she's asking for a drink. I mean, I think it's clear. I mean, that was one of the reasons why I liked Simone, because she was down to earth. She wasn't afraid to not drink. We know that doctors have lives outside of their career. So I always thought that that was something relatable for Simone, but I guess now she's seeing that this doesn't really look that good. And then he says, well, maybe, are you aware that you go from like a 0 to 100? Because she started yelling again, like she starts screaming. And my question was, I was on Twitter and I'm like, when are we going to start talking about Simone's spiritual journey? Because what the fuck is her? She really like completely goes from 0 to 100 just as quick as Heavenly does. Starts that yelling. We need to figure out like what's going on with you, homegirl. Toya and Simone are clearly allies because they start talking about Contessa, how fake she is, and when she came out and when they were in the, where were they, in the Bahamas? Where did they go? Antigua, that's where they went. They were talking about how fake she was when she was talking about Toya, and then came out and tried to be friendly. Like, girl, you so fake. So you can clearly tell that they're allies. And then they asked Contessa, do you have any regrets? With not coming around the group as much. She says, no, I don't. I don't understand why they felt like she's a liar and a fraud, because she shared a lot of really, really personal things about her. I saw somebody say in the comments that Donnell Jones's mother wasn't really her nanny, and that was a way to get her on the show to make her more interesting. I don't know. It seemed like, unless Contessa is just a really good actress, but I don't see that is the case. I don't see where they can be calling Contessa a liar and a fraud when she was sharing a lot of personal things about herself. They get on the kids. I was wondering about Mariah's sons. They rarely show them. And then I didn't know that Heavenly had another son. I thought that was really interesting that she had another son. Simone talked about her open, dialogue type of relationship that she has with her son, Michael. The joke between Jackie and Simone about her delivering Michael, and that's the reason why he's so crazy. I thought that was kind of endearing. That was really cute. She said he's just like Heavenly. He doesn't filter. He just tells the truth, and there's no filter on it. I don't know if that was shade, because I would have been like, thank you. I would feel like that's a compliment. But I guess it's all in Heavenly's delivery is where we need to work on it. And was it easier to be raising boys? And this idea that that is the case is not, because you have to have the same type of conversations with them that you would have with girls. There's no difference. You have to, and just like she said, I'm telling you to make decisions not to satisfy your, what she say, your Peter Weeder or whatever the fuck. You have to have those honest conversations. What is the age appropriate? And the way that Toya was like, no, we're not talking about that. We're not. Toya seemed like the kind of, I don't think that she's as open as Simone is, whether she makes it seem like she is or not. I think she's more of a like, shelter them until as long as I possibly can. If they're 8 and she doesn't think that they understand about sex, I think that's kind of naive for her. But then I don't think it's really naive. I think it's just like a kind of denial type of thing or whatever. I don't know. Apologizing to the kids, they show them where she says, oh, that's when we were having sex before marriage. And then apologizing to the kids like they don't, I don't know. I thought that was weird. Anyways, talked about showing therapy on TV. And then they started talking to Quad about it. And Quad, I don't think she understood the question. Because she kind of made it like, am I the only one that feels like that? Like she didn't understand. They asked, everybody was showing therapy on TV and the stigma behind mental health and within our community and how it's important for us to show you having mental, anything related to mental health, whether you're seeing a therapist or not. And then Andy asked Quad, what is it like since you are married to a psychiatrist? And then she started talking about how she showed them in therapy. I don't know. Maybe I misread that because I was like that. I don't think that Andy was asking that, but I don't know. Maybe I was wondering if I felt like that. They started talking about Heavenly spiritual journey. And then talking about conflict resolution, how maybe she didn't understand how to resolve conflict. And that's the reason why she lashes out the way that she does, which I think is a wonderful observation. Toya on the side says, does she ever take ownership? Toya, you need to stay. Like, I don't understand her. She's like you say like little things and then you don't understand why way that Contessa barks on you, that you deserve that. And this Toya is such a baby and she doesn't know what she does. That dumb. You can't be that dumb. You need to be quiet. Nobody on there takes ownership until somebody holds them accountable. And then this idea that Heavenly doesn't take ownership over, we're going to get to Mariah and her lies. I'm trying to get through this as fast as I can. We're almost there. They asked Heavenly about her sister. Have they spoken? She says, no, they haven't spoken. Then they get to Mariah. She starts asking. Andy asks a shady ass question. What would you think? How did you feel seeing Heavenly, that Heavenly didn't go outside and she was locked in a room with no windows? I was like, why are you asking that question like that? He asked that question like, that was so shady. So she was like, well, Mariah took that as an opportunity to flip it, not to, oh no, she says, I'm tired of her calling me a liar. That's character assassination. He didn't get to that part yet. It was cute. They showed this little clip of Heavenly and Contessa talking about the double-sided tape, and Heavenly was saying, I'm not going to talk about your breasts anymore. Talking about, why did you have she said, why'd your breasts have to be all out like that? Anyway. I thought that was so funny. She's like, I'm not going to talk about your breasts no more. I thought that was a cute little clip they showed. Okay, so this is what was funny for me, is when they came back from the break and they said that Damon hit on Miss Lucy. she said, first of all, I know you're a liar because you said my father, my father, who's been dead for 25, who's been dead for 25 years. Let me tell you how funny. She was like, I'm not talking about your daddy. I'm talking about daddy, your husband. You call him daddy. Oh my God. Well, I tell you, I was laughing so fucking hard. That shit was hilarious. She said, I was talking about Damon. So she was like, that's even more crazy for you to say that That Damon was hitting on Miss Lucy. Oh my God, that shit was so funny. She said, if he hit on Miss Lucy, I don't have a chance in the world. Here's my thing about Miss Lucy. We didn't already said it. You one of those type of women that does not get compliments a lot. So when you do, you automatically assume that the motherfucker is hitting on you instead of him just being nice. He's just being nice to the old lady. He's hitting on you. That shit is the funniest. That was the funniest shit to me. Then Andy asked her, what do you think about Heavenly growing up in a room with no, no windows? I said, why would Andy ask that shady ass question? And she goes, well, I just see now that she does communicate differently than I do, than what I'm used to. Honey, in the first season, you and Toya was fighting by the side of the pool. What kind of communication are you used to, girl? Come on. Come on. That shit was so funny. Oh, they talking about how mothers are hard. Black mothers are hard on their children. Black parents are hard on their children, and set forth a stipulation where failing is not an option. I think that it is preached, but not preached enough, that failure is not an option. I think it just really depends on the grandparents and the parents. I really, truly believe it has to do with the education level, on whether or not they push education and push that failure is not an option, and push push and push and push and push. He said, well, sometimes, we know now that you say I love you. That's rather than just, oh, I know my mom loves me even, or my dad loves me even though they don't say it. That's not enough. Kids need to hear it. They started talking about Heavenly's father, and she said she had to leave because she doesn't like to feel weak or out of control. We already know what her astrological sign is. She's very combative, and how she deflects. She says to Jackie, and you're not perfect, and you're not perfect. And said, see, that's what the fuck we talking about, Heavenly. That is what we're talking about. That shit was so funny. She says, well, and then she immediately takes accountability. What does she say? She's like, I'm going to continue to work on me. Basically, keep me honest. I'm going to continue to work on me. I will never be perfect, and I'll never be perfect. So I'm always going to be working on me because I'll never be perfect. So I'm glad that she said that, and everybody should really listen to that. That was some really good advice. Stay on your folks. Keep folks honest, but understand that nobody is ever going to be perfect. So they started talking about Heavenly and Mariah, and we need an update on the receipts. What is it that you guys just don't like about each other, Andy says. And Mariah's like, well, I never said I didn't like her. Honey, you are a liar. You are a stone cold liar. Wait a minute. What'd she say? Where am I getting to the character assassination? Wait a minute. I'm tired of her making these offensive comments about my mother. And I'm like, all she's saying is your mama. But what she's saying is your mama too, is when you're calling her all of these disgusting adjectives and she turns around and says your mama, now all of a sudden you're offended. All of a sudden you just, oh my God, there's these offensive comments, but she's saying your mama as a response. Nobody just comes out and says your mama. They're saying it in a response to something disgusting you said to them. So how can you get offended? Like, that's what the shit I don't understand. Like, girl, you can't be so offended. You called me a name, and now I'm telling you your mama. And now you are going to take offense to me saying your mama. Like, it doesn't make any sense. That's why I said Mariah is she's nuts. Bitch is nuts. And I didn't feel like it was right that she attacked my husband. My husband is an astute medical professional in Atlanta. And then Mariah says, and my mother, she said, and my mother is a well-respected entrepreneur. Yes. Yes, she is. Contessa was like, what? What? Oh my God, that shit was so funny. Yes, a woman entrepreneur. Yes, she is. Just lying. What has Miss Lucy done, honey? That's what we want to know. Somebody said they looked up Mariah's businesses and nothing came up. Well, we need to know where the receipts are. Now, all of a sudden, she doesn't want to go that down low in the gutter. Honey, you don't have no receipts. Then they show Aydin again lying for Mariah again. Mariah puts Aydin up to the stupidest shit, and he just falls right in line with it. And the funny thing is, everybody knows that he does it, and he acts like he's fine with it. Like, I'm going to tell her, I'm going to text her and let her know we downstairs at this bar. I'm going to hold this fake envelope with nothing in it and say that I got the shit. I got the receipts, girl. No, you don't. No, you don't. I'm not going to go that low. This is Mariah. I'm not going to go that low. I'm getting out of the gutter. He was like, Andy was like, well, you're the one that brought it up. That shit was so crazy. I said, Mariah is a crazy freak. And then all of a sudden, here come Quad out the back. Girl, she don't have no receipts. She don't have no receipts, child. No way that you could not feel stupid. Like, girl, and then Heavenly's like, I got my glasses. Let's go. Where are the receipts at? I don't want to go in the gutter. I don't want to go in the gutter. That shit was the funniest shit to me. And then she said, well, is Mariah lying? Doesn't Mariah lie a lot? That's when Heavenly tagged Quad. Tagged Quad in. Quad took the reins, baby. And she said, well, I just want to say I'm tired of you lying on me, saying that I went with your brother-in-law, this and that. And Andy said, wait a minute. This wasn't even on the show. Why are you bringing something up that didn't happen on the show? I'm tired of her lying on me. I'm going to get down to it right now. We're going to get down to it right now. She said, there's a police report. You are lying on me about sleeping with Lake's husband. There is a police report. We saw the police report. The police report says that they got into a fight. Now, we don't know what they got into a fight about, but here's the thing. If I catch you, if you're my friend and I catch you sleeping with my sibling's spouse, I'm not going to invite you onto a television show 2 or 3 years later. That's not going to happen. So I don't know what the fight was about. Maybe it's just on some hood shit, because really when Quad and Mariah started saying you the scum of the earth and she called her a fucking bitch, like they was really coming out of their characters that they play, because you're the scum of the earth. Here's the thing. You're the scum of the earth, but you are my best friend. Like that, all of that shit is crazy to me, because there's no way in the world that you're going to invite Quad onto a television show that you created. Now you created the show. Your sister, you're saying she slept with your sister. Then Andy says, she says, I didn't bring that out. Why would I want that out? Why would I want that out? Then she says, I believe it. But then she also says that she saw her in his shirt and smelled like him. How do you know what your brother-in-law smells like, Mariah? And had his business cards on wherever she was. And then Quad was screaming so loud. Like Andy was like, be quiet, be quiet. She was like, why would I want to put that out there? But then you also say that you saw it. And then Andy asked you, so do you believe it? And she says, yes, I believe it. So did you see it? Because if you saw it, why do you need to reconfirm that you actually believe it if you did see it? I don't know. I just thought that shit was so crazy. Then Quad accuses Mariah of sniffing cocaine. Now that was the funniest shit, because then Mariah said, what? She said, I don't even do hookah. But I'll tell you, they had me in here. I was like, these bitches are out of control. Then Mariah had to close it out with, why are you even here? You're not even married to medicine, my love. And I think that's what the problem is. Then we say, is she going to be able to be on the show? Because she's no longer married to medicine. Honey, we've been saying that. I don't know who gave that to Mariah to say to her. But yes, that we've all said it already. But here's the thing. You might be a little bit upset because Quad doesn't have to be married to medicine now. Do you? That's what we want to know. Do you have to be married to medicine? Because Quad doesn't have to be married to medicine. She has used this platform. Your little flunky. She has used this platform and created other streams of income where she doesn't have to be on the show anymore. She already used the show for what it was good for. So just let you know that. But anyways, that was it. What did you guys think of the episode? That's it. I'm tired of talking. Now I got to do Love and Hip Hop later. All right, y'all. Take care of each other. Peace.